All right, guys, welcome back to another edition of Texans Unfiltered. I am your host, Young Ari Gold. I am also solo in Philly. John is actually, I guess, on his way downtown. I guess he didn't see all the tweets and all of that this afternoon. So it'll be just me until we see what happens. If you guys don't know, um, I don't do solo shows very well, but we'll get through this and hopefully we can get it to go as long as we can until John comes in. What's up, Junior? What's up, Big Body Tonka? Uh, there we go. Already starting off right. F Deshaun Watson, big booty, big body Tonka talking about. All right, so tons tons of information coming out, tons of news, lots of different things happening. So I guess we need to start with the fact that Deshaun Watson was not indicted with criminal charges this last Friday afternoon, which literally not but, I don't know, an hour, maybe 90 minutes. The trade market opened, and Carolina, as we knew, was going to be a player. And then Tampa Bay was a player. Saints were a player. There's been rumors that the Niners are a player. And then as of today, Seahawks were a player mentioned early on, obviously with the Russell Wilson trade and everything that they got in return for Russell. Um, and then today, a team came out of nowhere. The Atlanta Falcons are now also in the mix. Um, so where we stand now is that Deshaun has met with the Saints, the Panthers, and the Browns. He is supposed to meet with the Falcons tomorrow. There are reports that he actually personally reached out to the Falcons himself. So he didn't use his agency. He didn't use anything. He didn't go through anybody. He actually called up, talked to the franchise, talked to Arthur Blank, um, and let him know his want or willingness to work with the Falcons and play in Atlanta. Now, obviously, that makes a ton of sense given um, where he's from, his ties to the organization from when he was a ball boy, his infatuation with Michael Vick, and all of that. So that makes sense. But then the um, when you look into the huh, I'm recording. Oh, you're throwing me off. Anyways, um, the I don't even remember where I was going. Thanks, Nick. Huh? Uh, this isn't drama class, okay? I don't just improv. Anyways, jeez, sorry, totally lost train of thought there. Um, Atlanta. Trying to think of where I was going with Atlanta. I don't know, but anyways, those are the teams that he's been told, or we've been told that he's going to meet with, and it looks like there's been a Diana Rossini today reported that any meeting that Deshaun Watson has had or has with a team um, has a trade package submitted to Nick Casario, and Nick understands and knows what we will be getting back, or at least has approved the package. Now, maybe he'll go back and ask for more. So that's currently where we stand. So as of right now, there is a package from the Panthers. There's a package from the Falcons. There's a package from the Saints. And it looks like there's also a package from the Browns. That's it, the Browns. That was the other team that he met with. So what I'd like to do is go through kind of where can we go? What can we look for? What can we expect from these packages? Um, no, he didn't. Derek, are you serious? No, he didn't. Oh no! Now you're making me pause the show. I'm going now. The fact that when you type in Baker, he isn't the first one to come up. Oh, wow. All right, so let's read this. This is cool. So Baker did just post this. He said, the past 4 years have been nothing short of truly life-changing since I heard my name called in the draft to go to Cleveland. This is not a message with hidden meaning. This is strictly to thank the city of Cleveland for embracing my family and me. We've had we have made many memories and shared growing in this process through all the ups and downs. I have no clue what's about to happen, which is the meaning behind the silence I've had during the duration of this process. I can only control what I can, which is trusting in God's plan throughout this process. I've given this franchise everything I have. That is something I've always done at every stage and at every level, and that will not change wherever I take my next step. Whatever happens, I just want to say thank you to the fans who truly embraced who I am and the mentality that aligns so well with the city's hardworking people. Cleveland will always be part of Emily and my story, and we will always be thankful for the impact it had and will have in our lives. Okay, okay. So Baker's gone. Um, it is just me, Paul. Feel free to hop in here. Um, so Baker pins a love letter to Cleveland. So what I wanted to do tonight was wanted to kind of go through the teams that have actually um, had conversations with Nick and with Deshaun, and kind of go through the packages, talk about what we think is actually the best potential package for the Texans rebuild, um, and just best return in general for Deshaun Watson. Because I think ultimately that's really what matters now. Because we need to jump this rebuild into light speed. So we'll start first with, I think, the favorite package. I think this is kind of what everybody's thinking. This is the one that everybody kind of wants, and that would be the Carolina Panthers. So it'd be 3 1s, 2 2s, a mixture or a combination of players that could be anybody from J.C. Horn, Brian Burns, Jeremy Chin, and Derek Brown. I always forget his first name. The defensive tackle who's a monster. Um, so three ones, two to three twos, and 2 to 3 players. It sounds like is the offer from Carolina. A lot of people on Twitter and a lot of reporters have said that the package from Carolina is going to be extremely hard to turn down. And that to me says a lot because that's coming from everybody. So everybody is saying Carolina is being as aggressive as possible, um, and they've basically included everything that Nick's asking for and maybe a little bit more. He met with David Tepper today and Matt Rule. There's also been rumors out there from Benjamin Albright that David Tepper told Deshaun Watson that he would be willing to let Deshaun choose the next head coach if Matt Rule is fired. Um, and yeah, so that's kind of where the Carolina Panthers are right now with the Houston Texans. Let me see this. Steve Lopez, Greedy Williams, Kareem Hunt, and a couple of firsts were offered to the Texans initially. Obviously, the offer was increased to have a seat at the table to meet with Deshaun Watson. Texans cap on spaces. So that's coming from Aaron. Yeah, who turned me down to not be on the show today, which is wild. But I guess he already had plans with Texans cap. But I guess they're a bigger platform. Bunch of white guys getting together. That makes sense. All right. And yeah, so it looks like Carolina is has the top package on the table. Now, if we move down and we go to the New Orleans Saints, it's been rumored that there is three um, 3 firsts, 2 2s, and a combination of players that could range from anywhere from Peyton Turner to Marcus Davenport, Ryan Ramczyk, Eric McCoy, the center. So a pretty good amount of players. Difference being between the Saints and the Panthers is the Panthers pick 6th, so they're going to pick earlier in the draft throughout the entire 2022 draft, and the Saints are going to pick a little bit later. I think they pick 18 or something like that because they made the playoffs, I believe. So that's the Saints offer. The Browns offer, according to Steve from Twitter, Greedy Williams, Kareem Hunt, and a couple of ones were offered to the Texans initially. Obviously, the offer was increased to have a seat at the table to meet with Deshaun Watson, Texans cap. I mean, if Texans cap is saying that, then he knows he wouldn't put something out there if it wasn't something new, unless that just came from Aaron Wilson just now during the spaces. Um, yeah. Anyways, so that's the offer from the Saints. That's the offer from the Browns, the Panthers. Now, when it comes to the Falcons, and to be honest with you, I truly believe, I truly believe that the Falcons are the team of Deshaun's choosing. Um, it's home, not far from home, not far from Gainesville. Has a relationship already with the organization from the time he was a boy to um, to his infatuation with Michael Vick, his relationship currently with Michael Vick. I think the Falcons, I know we've seen all the reports, and everybody says Carolina, New Orleans. It's kind of conflicting. It's either the Saints or it's the Panthers. I've been saying for 4 days on Twitter, there's going to be a team that comes out of nowhere. There's going to be a team that gets into the race a little bit late, but is able to really honestly, and this is kind of what it boils down to, at least in my opinion. Um, the no trade clause now is truly, I guess, and I hate to say it, but it's the first time I've said it, but there's actual leverage now with Deshaun having the no trade clause, because I think ultimately where Deshaun would like to play is Atlanta. And now that they're in the mix, it gives Deshaun a little bit more power in the situation, in the sense that he can just say no to the Panthers, no to the Saints, no to the Browns, no to the Seahawks. And I think that should be the biggest concern for a lot of Texans fans right now, is just the fact that that no trade clause can come in handy. And I think prior to this, it was really just a kind of put your hand in the hat and pick a number, and that's where you go. Obviously, the package is going to matter, but there's really not much of a difference outside of where they pick in the draft. Um, the only thing that is different, the only one team that's different is the Browns, because they're in the AFC. But the other three teams are all in the same division, and the Bucks were even tied to them at one point. But them all being in the same division, you have to wonder if there is somebody within the mix that's trying to drive the price up, right? I mean, obviously that's kind of being thrown around too, but there's no facts to that yet. And then when you also look at the situations, Atlanta needs a quarterback. They need more than a quarterback, and they actually have a decent quarterback that they could win with. I mean, they made it to the Super Bowl with him. I find it strange that Atlanta is in the mix. Um, and maybe they are. If there was one team I could say that's in the mix just to drive the price up, I would assume it would be the Falcons, because the Saints are in a situation where they need a quarterback. Jameis is a free agent. Taysom Hill is obviously not going to get the job done, and they had Breeze retire a year ago. And then Carolina has Sam Darnold, and then they've just had you know, they got so bad at quarterback that they re-signed Cam Newton to come back, because they really had no other options at quarterback. Um, so the only team I could see that's maybe driving the price up and kind of playing their cards to bankrupt a division rival would be Atlanta. But then when you add in the piece of Deshaun, and if it's true that he reached out to Arthur Blank and the um, Falcons organization, then I mean, I don't know, man. It's interesting, because I think there's a true emotional tie for Deshaun in Atlanta, and I think ultimately that's where he'd want to go. You just have to wonder if they can really offer. So the offer from the Falcons would be 3 1s, 2 3 2s, 2 or 3 2s. Possibly AJ Terrell. I think they have an offensive lineman. There's a guard I think we're taking, and then there's a couple other players, but they're really not like players that you would hope to get back in a trade for Deshaun Watson. Um, I would love Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts has to be involved, but then there's the David Mugoleta aspect of things where Kyle Pitts and Deshaun share the same agent. I would assume that David would like to keep Kyle Pitts happy and productive with Deshaun Watson. But honestly, like I don't know. I don't know who. This whole 18 months is just a strange thing to think about, right? Because and even I thought it for a while, and I didn't really come to my senses until after really thinking about it and dwelling on it a little bit more. But there was a lot of hate for David, and I totally get it. Like the way that Deshaun handled this entire situation, the way he acted like a little bitch and just quit. That you don't want to see that, and we all know the motivations. The motivation's money. The motivation's going to where they want to go, and that's fine. But I think when the allegations came and the season started, I think that there was an agreement. I think that there was some um, mutual agreements and engagement on both parts, and I think they both understood that if this is really going to work, then cooler heads are going to have to prevail. And I think that they worked amicably. There was no animosity, and they just wanted to make sure that both parties get exactly what they're looking for. And I think to this point, that is exactly what's happening. I think David and Deshaun and Nick are working extremely close. I really think that they're trying to work this out the best that they can um, to ensure that both parties are happy. Texans get what they want as far as a return. Deshaun gets what he wants as far as where he goes to play. Um, so maybe Kyle Pitts really doesn't matter to David in the sense of Deshaun being there. I can't see it because Kyle Pitts is like a once in a generation type of talent at tight end. Um, and he can play anywhere. He doesn't have to play tight end. So I don't know. Maybe Kyle Pitts is involved in the Atlanta trade. Maybe not. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But when we evaluate the packages and we look at them in that manner, I would have to say that the Panthers package is just it's not one that you can just kind of bat an eye at, right? Even if we just talk about the players first, right? Brian Burns, he's not really moving the needle for me. Younger guy, so he could still develop. He's definitely showed some potential. Jeremy Chin definitely moves the needle for me. J.C. Horn definitely moves the needle for me. Derek Brown moves the needle for me. Matter Gross, the defensive end, he moves the needle. He looks like he'll be pretty good. But the Panthers are, and Paul hit it right on the head. Like the Panthers are desperate. Anytime you're in these negotiations, not these negotiations, forgive me, because I'm not a GM, but just anytime you're in a sales negotiation, which is basically what this is, um, you can't act desperate to either party, okay? Because you're basically showing your hand. And I do believe the Panthers are legitimate. Like they want Deshaun Watson. It's been talked about for about as long as the Miami Dolphins, right? Um, and if that's the case, and Nick's able to leverage the Falcons and the Saints as what they're offering, um, it's too late. Like you're basically you're the one. And if you get chosen, you're definitely like you're going to give up a lot. And who knows what those other teams were going to give up, but the Panthers are in a position where they're likely to give up a lot. And I don't know if the Panthers are going to be able to recover from this. Like I was listening to PMP. That's my favorite Panthers podcast. They've had me on multiple times. They're great dudes, huge fans of the Panthers, and just very knowledgeable. And it was kind of like a torn thing, but it seemed like mostly everybody wanted Deshaun. Honestly, if I was the Panthers, I don't know if I'd give up that much for Deshaun. It's going to take a while for you to rebuild. Your O line is not very good. And what you guys are built on now is your defense. If you're taking away from that, then you're no different than the Texans. last year or the year before. Like you just, yeah, you might make the playoffs, but where are you going to go after that? And if you have a top 5 quarterback, isn't the goal to get past the playoffs? Um, I don't know. I in my heart, I would love for it to be the Panthers because I think we can bend them over backwards. David Tepper is a hedge fund manager, like CEO, whatever it was. He's a risk taker. He's a gambler. Um, he's egotistical. Um, he is one of those people because he's so rich that he's not used to losing. That he'll let his emotions get in the way, and he'll make a decision based on pure emotions. And you never go into negotiations with emotions. And I think that's where David Tepper is. Now, I don't know for sure. I haven't met him, haven't seen an interview with him. Like, I don't know. I know the O-line's improving. I agree. But they're not where they were, or they're not where they need to be for Deshaun to truly, like, you're going to need, I mean, you have a good defense still, even if we take, let's say, Chin and Horn or Chin, Horn, and Burns. But you also don't have pieces to replace those. And then you're also about to take 35 million in salary. There's just a lot. I don't know. But anyways, back to emotions. You never want to negotiate or make a decision this big under emotions. And I feel like David Tepper's about to. And yeah, they all say it's a done deal. And if so, I do think that we, unfortunately, PNP, I think we ended up, I think we took you guys to the woodshed. And I hate it because I like the Panthers, but I can never root for that man ever again. And just imagine, real quick, PNP. Let me just paint this picture for you. You're 4 years into Cam Newton's career. You've seen everything that you could do, and you've seen his potential. You know that he can eventually lead you to where you want to go. And then out of nowhere, he just decides, after signing his extension, that he wants out and is set in doing so. And you never got to see the rest of Cam's career. How would you feel? There's no way to root for Deshaun Watson. It's just impossible. I can't do it. Yeah, I don't know. Some Panthers fans are saying it's done. Big body, 5 firsts, 2 seconds, Burns, Chin. Okay, so it's not that part. Hope the trade happens during the stream. That'd be awesome. Imagine AJ Terrell, Sauce Gardner, Kavion third, and JG. Yeah, that'd be dope. You really can't mess up the draft at this point. Like, obviously, you can, I mean, from a position perspective, like, obviously, you can draft bad still. But from a position perspective, if we trade with the Panthers and let's say you add Chin and Burns, or honestly, if it was me, I'd go Chin and JC Horn. But I love this. I love secondary play. If we were to have Chin and Horn, I think you then go Kavion and you risk Kyle Hamilton because you don't need him now. You got Jeremy Chin. And yeah, I think that's like the only thing you could really do. Sorry, my son's calling me. All right. I think that's really the only thing, like with the draft, you know where you're going, you know what you need. And you really can't mess it up. You don't need Kyle Hamilton. Like, you don't want to go with Jeremy Chin and Kyle because like that's just too much of an investment. In the safety position, you're going to need a pass rush, right? We signed the guy from the Rams, who was like one of the top rated pass rushers in free agency this past year, which is amazing. And then so when you look at the roster now, you have, I don't want to say his last name just because it's like Obadiah. I'm not going to say it because I'm gonna murder it. And then you got Grenard on the other side. Malik Collins is back. Desmond King is back. You have Tavir Thomas. And then if you add Chin and Horn, I mean, you really got ample. ample. I mean, your defense is on a very quick. Like you can go with a linebacker at 8, or I mean at 6. You could trade back and get more value. The Panthers give us the opportunity to, like, honestly, after year 1, if we hit on Mills, um, if Mills just progresses and develops and just gets better, you're looking at in 2023 being somebody who can compete in the division, and then you're looking, so on and so on. If you continue to take those steps, cool thing is too with the Panthers, if you get Horn, it's his second year. If you get Chin, it's his third year, right? Third? No, was Chin and Horn the same draft? Oh, I don't remember. He was either the same draft or the year before. I think he was the same draft. Either way, he wasn't a first round pick, so you're only going to have him for 3 years if he was last year or 2, but still somebody to build around. Brian Burns, I think he still have 2 years on his rookie contract. Um, if it's Derek Brown, you still have 2 years on his rookie contract. So you have some real solid defensive pieces to be able to build around and actually take a look into the future and see where you're going to need to go and what you're going to need to do. Now you're going to have to shift to the offensive side of the ball. And with all the second round picks that you're going to get and everything else. Okay, thank you. Year before, you'll be able to fill the other interior guard spot. You'll be able to add wide receivers. You'll be able to add a young running back, which I think is like probably the most exciting thing for everybody in this chat right now, is being able to say that you're going to add a young running back. And you're starting to truly build. And I think the Panthers give us the best opportunity to do that. So, yeah, that's my thoughts as far as where we're at on things. As far as getting into free agency and stuff, I've been traveling all day, so I've seen some of the things that we have done. I've obviously seen it all, but to have it on the top of my head is going to be pretty tough. And I really thought if I went 30 minutes, John would be able to make it, um, but it doesn't look like that's the case. But yeah, what do you guys got? What questions do you guys have? Drop them in the chat. I'm here. You guys got me. The longer we go, the longer the chances that John makes it back in time. I think he's driving from downtown. I don't honestly. Me and John haven't talked. I don't think since our last stream. Um, by the way, this is look at where I'm streaming at. I'm in some hotel. I was at a restaurant. No, I don't even know where I am. I have no idea where I'm at. When do you think he will be trading? Okay, there's a lot here. You guys went quick. Would Miles Jack be a good fit for Levy's scheme? Miles Jack doesn't look like the same player that he was a couple years ago. He looks like he lost a step. And I don't know if he would fit in to our locker room culture, to be honest. Like he's had some moments in Jacksonville. It probably worth taking a flyer on. You can fit. I'm a big believer in the fact that you can fit any player into a scheme as long as they're set up for success. Is he ideal? Yeah, I mean he would work. I just don't know if he's the same player. I probably wouldn't do it. Who do you hope we get at 3? I hope we trade back. I hope we trade back both. Like, let's say the Panthers trade. I really hope we trade back from like 3 to 8, so that the Falcons can move up to get Kenny Pickett, and then we trade 6 back to 12, and we get like at least 1 or 2 more first round picks, and a 2 this year or whatever it may be. Maybe the Eagles package their 2 picks in the first round for 6 if Kenny Pickett's there. Like, I think the opportunity now, especially with what we've done or what we'll potentially do if we do make a deal with the Panthers, you got to move back and add, because now your window is starting and you want to be able to maximize that window. And the only way you can do that is by adding additional pieces. I'm actually in Philly, Paul. I'm at a pharmaceutical convention for work. They want me to go sell Grubhub to the pharmaceutical industry. So yeah, if you're drafting right now, you're taking at 3. Okay, so if we're drafting right now, that's okay. If we're drafting right now, I'd probably take Kavion. I think there's a lot of bad juju around Kavion right now. I think he's a beast, and I think he's somebody that you couldn't miss at 3. When do you think he'll be traded? I think by the end of Thursday. He's taking the meeting with the Falcons. I wouldn't be surprised if another team comes in and requests a meeting of some sort with him. So I would assume by the end of Thursday. After this trade, how much longer would the rebuild be? All depends on the drafting. If Nick hits on all his picks this year, could be a year or two, right? Like, all depends on what we get and how we scout, and the team we build. The draft is such a crapshoot, and even though Nick had a great year last year with no first or second round picks, like there's no way we can expect for him to go, you know, never miss on a draft pick. It's just not possible. Um, but if if we just go based off of what we know, he's going to miss on a couple this year. It's going to happen. Um, but we even with that, like there's so much more room for error now with the additional draft picks. If he's traded and when he's traded, I should phrase it like that. But with the amount of picks we have, the more at bats, like you can afford to strike out on a player here and there, as long as you're maximizing the other guys, and I think that's the key. Nice digs. That's funny. I need Watson traded career signing tomorrow. I think we all do. Houston needs it. I talked to Billy O today. His excuse for butchering the Texans is he was busy. It wasn't his fault. I believe him. I believe him. Does Baker Mayfield's farewell letter imply Watson's good? No. That just means that Cleveland is doing Cleveland things, to be honest with you. At least that's the way I look at it. Like, why would you, if I was Cleveland, Atlanta, that's probably about it. If I was those two teams, I would have done everything I could to ensure that this meeting did not get out, because you would have liked to have at least kept Baker for one more year rather than be forced to trade him or cause issues within the locker room. The Browns are not going to succeed at all this year, right? They can't. Now, with everything going on with Baker and Deshaun, I think it was a mistake. I would have at least had back channel conversations to see if there's a real chance you can get him, and then make your decision from there. But Baker is gone. I don't think that means Deshaun's going there. Sad about Jay Reed. Yeah. But I'm also happy for Jay Reed. I think his style of play will fit better in KC. He's one of those guys that you have to root for. Just a good dude. Did everything he could on the field. Had some injuries, some nicks and stuff like that, but always gave what he could on the field. Great guy in the community. Just an awesome person. It does suck, but at the end of the day, like there's really no point in signing Justin Reed. Um, what is your? I gotta have this package from the Panther. Oh, that's a great question. My I've put a lot of these out over the last 3 days, and I get quote tweeted by every other fan base, and they're all like, "You're an idiot. It's impossible that you'd get that much." Um, but if it was me and I was Nick, um, it would be Chin, Brown, Horn, three ones, two twos. That'd be the package for me. Your opinion on Jalen Hurts if he was in the Watson trade? Honestly, I haven't watched enough of Jalen. I've seen that he's developed and gotten better, um, and he looks like he can make the throws. He looks like a great dude. Um, and with what Philly can offer from a picks perspective, like the now picks, like I think they have two or three this year. I think that's very intriguing. But I don't know if I'd be super happy with. I think look, honestly, if it's Hurts versus Mills, I'd love to see who comes out and wins in training camp, the starting position, and Mills beats out Hurts, then that'd be intriguing to say the least. Why is that? Why is he getting bad publicity? Who? Giovanni? I don't know who you're talking about. When are the Colts getting their Deshaun interview? They're not getting a Deshaun interview. Fucking loser Colts. Hey, you got to appreciate them taking the. Um, you got to appreciate them taking their shot. I would have traded them to the Colts. Um, I just would have taken Quentin Nelson, Darius Leonard, Kenny Moore. Um, there's somebody else. Rocky Yassin, DeForest Buckner, and then all their entire draft this year. That's what I would ask for the Colts. We need O-line help in the worst way. Tackle is always a good place to start. Receiver is a must. Running back is a must. The trenches are most important. Yeah, but Tunsil's back, right? So Tunsil and Titus. AJ Can. I know Jordan's not big on AJ Can, and that's fine. I'm not going to sit here and act like I scouted AJ Can because I haven't. But when Brandon Thorne says that AJ can play and is solid in the run game and everything else, like I will always take Brandon Thorne's evaluation of the offensive line over anybody. I mean, that's just what the guy studies. So I don't know if you can judge a guy that only played 3 games last year and was hurt. But you have to wonder, if Brandon thinks that there's a ton of talent there. He was in Jacksonville for 7 years. I think there's a good chance that. Well, look, could he be worse than any guard that we had last year? Probably not. So it's an upgrade either way. What do you think of the Texans will get for backup quarterback since Taylor went to? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we signed Jeff Driscoll. I don't know if they'll take him serious or not. But I don't know if there's really going to be much there. I think they really want. I think they really want Davis Mills to take the reins and try to, really push them to start and develop. And I'm hoping that's the case. Baker will go to the Seahawks. When the Browns had the number 1 pick, there was a rumor Seattle offered Russ for the pick, so they could draft him. Yeah, I don't know if that's true, but maybe. I mean, he could go. Look, at this point, Seattle really doesn't have any options. So Baker's an upgrade over Drew Lock. You think Myles Garrett could be included in the Browns package? I hope not. I hope not. And I know that sounds stupid, right? But I really don't want. I don't want older players on blockbuster deals. I want young guys on rookie deals that can develop within the organization and be taken care of by our cap space to stay with the team and develop and just build chemistry and camaraderie and all of the stuff that comes with it. But I really don't want Myles Garrett. He's a great player. He's a great pass rusher. I just don't want that much money tied up right now in the early window. I want to keep that cap for signing guys long term that we believe is going to play a part in the team. Literally every team offering us has a better safety option than Justin Reed. Literally true. Literally true. That was for Baker. Jalen is mid, but very poised. Okay. Brock, I'm not mad if we have to take Darnold. I'm not mad if we have to take Darnold. But if if we're taking Darnold, then you're adding another piece, right? Like we're not taking your guy to take up a roster spot unless you're giving us something. But honestly, a Darnold versus Mills, look, if Mills can beat out Darnold, like that says a lot. Former first round pick, definitely showed some potential in the second year. It'd be intriguing. I think Pep is going to be. I think Pep's going to be here long term. Seems he has never been at the same place for a while. Would be nice for the offense to have some consistency, assuming he does a good job. Honestly, I don't know. I know everybody's excited about the Pep Hamilton offense. I want to see it first. I want to see what he's able to do and what he can get out of the offense consistently, what he can get out of Mills consistently, how the run game works. I don't know if I don't want to get caught up in Pep being here for a long time because I don't necessarily know if that's necessary yet. I appreciate it, Busy too. Handsome Ari. I appreciate that. Thank you. So all their best players. Yeah, basically. That's what I would take. That's the exception. Giovanni, you said, let me see, let me go back. You're all the way at the top, Giovanni, I think. Giovanni, where'd you go? Why is that? Why is he getting, Kayvon, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I've been so busy. I started a new, honestly, so the reason why we haven't had a show is I opened up a new business. It's been busy. I started a new position at work. life's just busy, and I really just haven't had a chance to like sit. Obviously, like here I am, right? Like I haven't had a chance to sit yet. I've just been going. So I really I don't know specifically what it is about Kavion and why people are saying he's falling. He may not be, um, and he probably isn't. Like he's a freak of nature. Um, he seems like a great guy. Interviews well, so I'm not sure why Giovanni. I honestly don't know. AJ Cam will be okay. Yeah, I don't see a reason why not to think that AJ won't be okay. Like I said, he can't be worse. Mills needs weapons other than Moore and Conley. I mean, he has Brandon Cooks, um, Brevin Jordan, second year guy, Nico Collins. I don't know if there's a ton of weapons that are needed. And like, do you really want to, um, do you really want Brevin Jordan to like with the young guys and then Cooks and Conley and Moore, like you really don't want to invest too much because those guys could come in and develop and be productive. So I don't know if I want like Nick to go out there and sign like Allen Robinson or anything like that, but I'll take kind of what we have and see if that can keep going. And yeah,
Hey man, what's up?
I feel bad for you guys that I didn't answer y'all's questions because we were going on a question spree there, but John showed up. John, I guess you didn't see my tweets at all that I tagged you in and stuff.
I no, I had a busy day at work,
Did you start at
and
the new company?
no, I'm still at the Cox Automotive, but
Oh, okay.
I'm on I'm still on a big project, and it was kind of like a panic day. And believe it or not, I actually didn't check Twitter until like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and so much had happened that I
Yeah,
just probably lost it. And I mean, dude, you know my phone number, like,
I know, but I just thought it'd be cool, like if I like put it on Twitter and there was some suspense from everybody, and then you retweeted, and then created a buzz for the show because we're competing against Spaces now every
yeah.
Tuesday for some reason,
And they've got Aaron Wilson on tonight,
and they
so
got Aaron on, so Aaron's gonna, he blew us off for
no
for
traitor.
that. Yeah, and so I know that that's gonna bring us.
After
So I was
we
like, let me,
covered for him and everything, after everything that he no.
yeah. And so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna put this on Twitter. But plus, I was at the airport when I
Oh,
announced it,
nice.
and then I'm in Philly now. Like this is where I'm recording. Like in
Okay.
some I don't even know where I'm at. But yeah. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Oh, I
So
was at
I already
some
broke everything
mixer.
down. So
Oh, okay. I was at some mixer for South by, and like they had free drinks and everything.
oh, your
So
buzz, your eyes are glazed over.
maybe.
Yeah, no, no, maybe. Let me zoom in. Oh yeah, yep. You're drunk.
I also have a ring light like right here in my face, so that might be part of it.
Might be.
I had two Michelob Ultras. Like I mean, those are water.
Yeah, but you're lightweight, John.
That is true. Like
Um,
it's as much as I drink in a month.
yeah, I
But
don't drink
no,
much either. So
what did I miss? Anything fun? Talk about anything fun? Any fun
uh, I went through
questions?
I went through every trade package and what we could potentially get. I went with who I thought he was going to be traded to. I went with who I would like for him to be traded to, and then we talked about some free agency signings. I answered a bunch of questions. Um, yeah, everybody's pretty happy that we're here tonight.
Yeah. I mean, even with Texan Scap having his thing going on, I mean, we still have 60 something people, which for this time honestly isn't too bad. Um, well,
Not only that, we also haven't been on in like 6 weeks.
I
So
know. We've
the
been
fact
away
that we
for a
haven't
little
been
bit.
on in 6 weeks, and then Twitter Spaces is going on with a huge following, and then us, I think that it's pretty crazy.
Good. I'll
Um,
take it.
yeah,
So I mean, you've already talked about everything. Somebody just put in chat that Aaron Wilson thinks that the Saints is the directions that Deshaun's leading.
no, the Panthers feel like Deshaun is leaning towards the Saints.
Okay. Um, the Saints really can't offer. I mean, they can offer something, but not really that much.
I mean, they can offer quite a bit. They can't offer what Carolina can offer.
Yeah.
So I don't
Well, I
know
mean, it's a
unless they're
worse draft
throwing in
pick, and
something.
it's a worse draft pick from the Saints, and I mean the players that they have, they don't have as many quality rookie contracts as the
Carolina,
Panthers do.
right?
I mean, and then you've got Baker. As I was walking up the stairs, I just kind of glanced over it, but Baker's telling Cleveland goodbye.
Oh, we had a breaking news on here. I read the entire Baker Mayfield thing. We literally had breaking news.
Well, thank God that the Texans seem like they're not interested at all in having Baker come in. Thankfully, but that would have been just after all the shit that we talked about Deshaun being better than Baker, and how much shit we pretty much like made it a thing for a good 2 seasons about just hating on Baker, and we turns out we were right, but that would have just made me
Let me,
kind of sad
let
if
me
he
ask
was a
you this.
Texan.
Let me ask you this though. After knowing what we know about Deshaun, would we rather have Baker or Deshaun Watson?
I
Knowing what
mean,
we know
at
now,
least the Cheesecake Factory was consensual. It may not have
right?
been the best taste, but it's consensual.
That's what I'm saying. So like now that we know the character, like we knew Baker was a tool and a douche coming out of college, right? So
Yeah,
we knew that so we could be prepared for it. We thought Deshaun was an angel falling from heaven and amazing at football. And then we got stabbed in the back and the heart multiple times.
dude.
We're laying on the ground in our own blood. And now we're finally at a point to where the doctor says we can go home. Um, but honestly, like if I'm thinking about it, like knowing the outcome of this, like the only thing that's positive if we kept Deshaun is the trade package that we're going to get for him.
Right.
Like you're not going to get that for Baker, and if you keep Baker, you're going to be mediocre for the entire existence of his career. So I
Probably
guess
so. I
even with
mean,
all that going on, I'd probably rather have Deshaun minus the sexual misconduct. Um,
yeah.
that I'll never be okay with. But yeah,
I mean,
stabbed 22 times. That's right, Steve.
it's tough. Like it really is. And I think I put it out there on Twitter stating that there's no Texans fan that's coming out of this like not hurt in some form or fashion. Like I'm sick of this bullshit narrative on Twitter that everybody's happy that we're getting rid of Deshaun. No, fuck that. I mean, fuck that. Seriously, like we don't care about cursing anymore. So it's like we've just made our peace with it a lot sooner than others. That's it. Like there's no changing any of this. Like he's shown what he is, and it hurt. It hurt a whole lot at the time. It hurt a whole lot last year. I mean, now we've just made our peace in the fact that we're going to get somebody else in here and we're going to get some draft picks. But I'm tired of this narrative that it's like, oh, we're hating on Deshaun. Or we wouldn't rather have Deshaun, or we think that the Texans should try and convince Deshaun to stay. Like, there's all these narratives out there from people that are just absolutely standing Deshaun in a way that I don't get with 22 accusations. Like, he's not been found innocent, but there's so much out there that's acting like he has. All
Yeah, I
we've
think.
done is made our peace. We've already been hurt. We've already been hurt badly.
Yeah,
We've
I
just
think.
made our peace to move on.
I think like and without the criminal investigations, I think you can say like without the indictment criminally, I think we can say now, and not that it makes it okay because it makes it's still not okay. But like if we take out the 22 civil suits and we base our opinion off of just Deshaun's actions with the Texans, you still cannot defend this man.
No.
You can still not be okay with how he handled this. You can still be pissed off and frustrated that he quit on an entire city. Like, and that's the problem that people tend to forget. There are two separate parts of this story. There are the 22 civil suits, and then there's also the fact that he signed his extension. And before he even signed his extension, he already had a plan on getting out. Like, dude, that is never okay. But you're right. Like, everybody No matter if we all right now, God was in front of us and asked us a question. If there was any way that we could have Deshaun, the football player, be our quarterback, everybody would say yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like if you
Everybody
could
would say yes. This team is,
erase everything else and it's just based on the football field, in a heartbeat. Like
and not,
I've said it
yeah,
multiple times. There's no fair return. We
no, there's
should
not.
get an absolute killing. There is no return that we're going to get that is going to make up for losing Deshaun. Absolute zero. It better get the other team. It absolutely better, because to get a quarterback like Deshaun Watson, the football player, you luck into it. No one drafts a quarterback like Deshaun. No
Unless
one.
you have the
You
first
luck.
overall pick, you just get lucky, and
Well,
that's
even
the
with the
luck
first,
involved, right? And
even with the
no,
first overall pick, you
no,
luck
you're not
into it.
guaranteed. No, but what I'm
Yeah,
saying is like you have a better chance at that point to grab them, right?
right.
Because
But
it is
it's
the first pick. You have the first choice, but you're still a crapshoot. But at the end of
yeah.
the day, like I was saying, like I would much rather, have um Deshaun on this team, and anybody that says that this team isn't better with Deshaun on it, even now, this team
Last year,
is that much better with Deshaun on the team than it is
last
without
year they're
Deshaun on the team.
last year they're a playoff team with Deshaun quarterbacking.
Right.
I stand by that. I absolutely
Yeah.
stand by that. Do any of us think that Davis Mills legitimately has a chance to be better than Deshaun?
No.
No, we don't. We think he may
No.
be different. We think he might be fine. But here's the thing: Deshaun is never playing for the Texans again, ever. There is no changing that. There is absolutely no changing that. Too much damage has been done. Um, and it is all off the field stuff. But he's never coming back. So make peace with it and just hope we get a decent return for him that is at least soothes it, that at least gets this team on the right track back to being competitive quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Hold on.
Defon's nailed it. Like none of these teams should be like, yeah, you can't have this player or this player. You don't get a quarterback. It, like you just don't. You can't. You can have the number one pick. You have the number one pick this year. You're not getting a quarterback on the level of Deshaun Watson and what he's already proved in the NFL. You have next year's, which is a stronger class. Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, they are not Deshaun Watson. They might be, but the odds are that they won't, even with getting one of them, one or two.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, Josina Anderson just put out. I'm told tonight the compensation asked for Deshaun Watson trade has not varied, even with recent developments so far. The Texans are still seeking 5 to 6 premium assets to consummate a deal. A league source added, they've remained firm but fair in discussions.
Yeah. I mean, you want two players that are established so that way there's no bust. Like there's some certainty there. Like you
Yep.
actually get some sort of value. And then with the draft picks, like you want as many first round picks as possible. But again, look at teams in their history of drafting first round picks. We actually got a little spoiled with Rick Smith. Most teams don't hit on first round picks consistently. Like you may get a solid player, but getting a Pro Bowl caliber player consistently, even in the first round, doesn't really happen. Even the best drafting teams.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Oh, Adam Schefter just said the Falcons have prepared an elaborate presentation for their meeting with Deshaun Watson on Wednesday to try to convince him to come home to Atlanta and play for the Falcons. Schefter adds that he thinks coming back to Atlanta is appealing for Watson. Adam mentions the Colts and Seahawks as a few teams that could show potential mutual interest in Matt Ryan and the situation he is likely to be traded following a hypothetical Watson trade.
I'm just going to build on what I said about him going to Atlanta. I don't want him to go to Atlanta if they're going to turn around and trade Matt Ryan to the Colts. If he's going to
Yeah.
the Seahawks, that's fine. Just because, again, it goes back to me being petty, and I don't want the Colts to have any more joy than the joy they already get in the fact that they don't have to play Deshaun Watson, the football player, twice a year anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how closely you've seen my tweets, but um, I said Sunday that there's going to be a team that comes out of nowhere that nobody's talking about, and they're likely going to be the ones that end up landing Deshaun. And here it is. I truly believe that it is the Falcons. There is just too one like the picks aren't too different from Carolina. Um, I think they have 8, so 2 picks back, and that's going to be in the second round as well. Um, the only thing with the Falcons for me is I just don't know. I don't know enough about their roster to know what players we should want outside of AJ Terrell and Kyle Pitts. And people are saying Kyle Pitts is off the board because that's a David Muguleta athlete. So I don't know if that means anything or not. But I would assume if Burns or Horn or Chin or 2 of those players on the Panthers are on the table, then Atlanta's got to come with something.
Yeah,
They
Pitts is
have
on the table.
he has to be on the table.
Atlanta just doesn't have the assets without Pitts on the table.
That's what
Like
I keep coming back to.
like that's if Atlanta is serious about wanting to try and get this done, then Pitts is on the table. Everybody's on the table. Granted, from the little bit that I've been able to get from Twitter, it looks like the reason the Falcons might be appealing to Deshaun himself is first off the hometown. I think that he is kind of aware that certain fan bases are not going to treat him as well as others.
Yep.
So he goes back to Atlanta, he goes back to Carolina. They're gonna love him. They're gonna forgive him. But with Atlanta, he will actually have probably a bigger say on the roster, even if it's just LeBroning people in, because they don't have anybody. Now
Yeah.
the biggest problem with Atlanta is they also don't have any money.
Yeah, they would have to trade. Wouldn't they have to trade Matt before they could even consider trading for like Matt's
They
got to have a
have
home. I'm
they
assuming
have
there's a
until
trade already.
noon tomorrow, I believe. And that's when the restructure takes place for Matt Ryan, and then the dead cap will just crush him.
Yeah, because it's like $54 million, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's when it becomes official. If they don't get him traded by tomorrow at noon, then they can't move him because that's when that restructure. That is my understanding. I would actually tell y'all to go hop on Texans Cap stream. He'll probably understand it better than me, but that's just my understanding. Is Matt Ryan becomes untradeable at noon tomorrow.
Hmm. So what? Chris Lindstrom, AJ Terrell, Kyle Pitts. I don't really see anybody
I mean, it's only Pitts and
else,
Terrell that even move the board just a little bit.
and they don't move it like Carolina.
Nope. Well, Pitts might. Pitts might be pretty special, but well,
Pitts is only
it's
special if you compare him with the quarterback. And I'm
yeah.
not saying that Davis isn't a possible quarterback, but like if you trade for Pitts and you don't have a quarterback for the next 2, 3, 4 years on his rookie deal, then at the end of the day, it's that pick ends up being wasted
Yeah.
because he's going to leave to go to a quarterback. I don't know. It's a bit wild right now. That's for damn sure. By the
I think
time,
tomorrow I think tomorrow morning and tomorrow I think just tomorrow is going to be nuts. It'll be entertaining to watch.
yeah, um, I agree. I agree. All right, so I mean, by the time we record next week, Deshaun's going to be on a new team.
Most likely.
What do you like? Who? Where does he go, John?
Probably Carolina. I just think that they'll have the best I think they have the best package that they could put together and still be competitive. I shouldn't say probably Carolina. I'm hoping for Carolina because it just makes the most sense for all parties involved to make a trade work with Carolina. Now, if he wants to win, he's going to end up in Cleveland, which I hate to say, but him on that Cleveland roster, like they've got that's a pretty good team. That's a pretty good team. I can't see Atlanta doing it. I really just can't see Atlanta pulling it off. And the Saints, what sort of craziness? They're going to have to absolutely nuke their roster to make him fit. right?
No, because so people keep saying that, but I don't think people are taking into account the players that would be coming off the books in the trade. Like that seems to be completely
Well,
missed.
even even with that, they've only got like 6 million in cap space, and they started the offseason with they were 50 million over. Like they've already done a lot to get to this point. I don't know.
So
They work the cap better than any other team in the league, so maybe they can make it work. But I just can't wrap my head around what New Orleans is going to do to make it happen.
so let me look. I'm gonna look right now at their
But
cap.
no,
So
if he goes to Cleveland, part of me hates it because I don't want Deshaun to succeed. But I agreed with Kovu Khan that that team is a quarterback away from being just a serious Super Bowl contender, and Deshaun on that
Cleveland.
team will do it. Yeah.
So Ryan Ramczyk clears 37 million
Why would we want
automatically.
Ramchick? Why would we want him
Well,
though?
we wouldn't want him unless you're going to play Titus at guard.
Oh God. I'd almost feel bad for Titus at that point. Tunsil just came back and said he was playing. So
Yeah. Um, Peyton Turner 6 million off the books. Marcus Davenport is 10, so that's 16. They just created another 9, I believe, but then they just signed Marcus May. So I don't honestly. Maybe, like, if you actually look at it, like maybe Atlanta and I mean I don't know why Atlanta would put all that time into the presentation. I'm assuming by the time we wake up in the morning, Matt Ryan's traded somewhere.
right.
Um, it's likely going to be Indy, um, because that just makes the most sense. Uh, I think Matt would prefer to go to Indy over Seattle.
Yeah,
Also, not to
he goes to Indy, and I mean they're a strong playoff team, even with Matt Ryan in a decline. Like that team was beating the Jaguars away from being in the playoffs last year, and they really haven't regressed. Like I just
yeah.
Atlanta to me, like I can see, of course they want him. Of course they're going to put a PowerPoint together. Of course they're going to do everything they could. But just if you take in all the factors that you supposedly care about, the package we can receive, that Deshaun wants to play for a team that has a plan, that's not Atlanta. The only thing that Atlanta has to convince Deshaun himself is to pull on his heartstrings and to say, well, we can bring in some of your buddies because apparently Allen Robinson and Will Fuller will take reduced contracts to go to Atlanta and play with them.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, they'd have to play
I
for
think
just
Atlanta.
above the minimum. Like,
I think Atlanta, and I think he
you think
weathers the
Atlanta?
storm for. I think he weathers the storm for the next 2 to 3 years, and then he hopes that they can rebuild and do what they need to do once they have picks and cap space, and then you know, I mean, what about Calvin Ridley? Like, even though he's
He's up.
suspended for a year, like that doesn't count for
It doesn't count towards the cap. So
exactly, and it doesn't count as a contract year.
so he'll get reduced.
No, no, I'm saying if we took him in a trade,
Oh, if we took him in a trade?
so you get a
I
guy,
mean, I'd
you get a good wide
maybe. I mean,
receiver.
he is a good receiver, but there's so much talent at the receiver in this position in this draft that it's almost tough to say I want a receiver back in any of these trades. Even Calvin Ridley. Like I don't think Calvin Ridley's fine, but he's not earth-shatteringly change the direction of your franchise type wide receiver.
But even with J.C. Horn, like as much as we love him, and we both love him,
Mhm.
we don't know for sure that that's the case either. Like he could
No, no,
be
no.
he could be
But the
injured and stuff,
it's
right? So it
harder
kind of equals out.
it it's harder to find a quality cornerback than it is to
Agreed.
find a
A
quality
wide receiver.
receiver, just like a starting caliber. And JC Horn, just from unless he becomes injury prone, just from what he
That's
showed
the only
last
thing.
year, yeah, he's gonna be a Pro Bowl quality corner no matter what. And that just does so much for your defense. I can't imagine that he peaked after what, 4 games before he broke his foot? 2 games? Like, it was something just ridiculously small, and he's also a guy you gotta remember that J.C. Horn's dad was Joe Horn. He knows wide receiver route trees better than most wide receivers.
Yep.
So it's not just the physical reasons. He's a very, very smart corner that'll play forever. So that's why I'd want him from Carolina. Doesn't mean that it would get him, but that's why.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm going Falcons. You're going Panthers. We'll find out by the end of this week.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe we'll do something fun once the trade goes down.
yeah, maybe.
We'll see.
Oh man, I just saw this clip on Twitter where Jay Glazer on October 28th says on the Pat McAfee show the Houston Texans played the Deshaun Watson situation all wrong early in the offseason and offered turned down an offer of 3-1s and 3-3s, and now they're about to get 3-1s and some 2s and some players.
Well,
Anyways, all right, yeah,
that was being pushed by his camp. I think
it was being
that
pushed by everybody.
yeah, that was a little bit of a. I think Casario. Not, I don't want to say he broke Deshaun's will, but he came to an understanding, and I think that's why this will be a little bit smoother than we kind of expect.
Well, yeah, I mean, I mentioned it earlier. Like, you don't go through what you're going through, whether it be the Texans or it be Deshaun, and it happened the way that it happened, and get to this outcome without there being some actual respect between the two and some cohesion between the two to ultimately get like exactly what both parties want. Like, that's the only way this works. Because if that wasn't the case, yeah, Deshaun has the no trade clause, but we just paid you $11 million to sit, and we can easily do it again next year. And
Exactly.
there's so many different things that we can do, but the fact that that's not happening tells me that they're working together, they're being respectful, and they're trying to figure this out. So, at least at the end of the day, he's ending in that fashion, I guess, and not trying to hold the franchise hostage.
Yeah, that's what it
So,
seems like. So
yeah.
hopefully that's the case. Because yeah, again, I hate to break it to y'all, even if some of the tweets out there, some of the reporters out there say that the first reaction that you're going to say have when you see the return is go, "Wow!" That you're not going to believe the return. But I'm just going to forewarn y'all: there is no return that is fair for having a quarterback for Deshaun. We're going to feel it next year when we watch Deshaun play on another team. If if he doesn't get suspended, because apparently that's still out there that he may get suspended for 8 or more games. But
I just, you know what I hate? I hate seeing anything from anybody in the sense of like sources, because truly you never know.
that is
Like,
true.
you really never know what people know because you don't know who anybody is compared to somebody else, like on Twitter. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, even with sources, people are people. Like somebody could tell the source, and the source could be 100% correct with what they were told.
Yep.
But change your mind. I'm going downstairs for a Coke. I decide I'm going to get a water. I don't tell anybody, but I might have told you when I got up, "Hey, I'm going to go get a Coke. Come back up with the water."
Right. Well,
That's
that's
what
what I mean.
happens.
Like, you just never know. So, all right, cool. Well, with that being said, I'm gonna get to the hotel room and get some sleep. I got to be up early, and it's 11 o'clock here.
Gotta go
Um,
make money.
yeah, we'll be there. We'll be back next week. As long as John's not downtown getting drunk, as usual.
Yep.
And yeah, I guess with that being said, I'm Young Ari Gold. That's John Wade, the Garnet Texan, to take you guys back to the old days. And we will catch you guys next week. Thank you guys for tuning in.